June 6, 1944. Before dawn, a hush falls over the choppy waters of the English Channel. But this is no ordinary morning. This is the calm before the storm. A storm that will change the course of world history. Today, we're taking you back to D-Day, the largest seaborne invasion ever attempted, to uncover the monumental story of the Normandy Landings. For years, Allied forces have been meticulously planning Operation Overlord. The goal? To open a second front in Western Europe and begin the liberation of France from Nazi occupation. The plan was audacious, complex, and fraught with risk. It involved coordinating the movements of nearly 7,000 vessels and over 150,000 soldiers from the United States, Great Britain, Canada, and other Allied nations. The target was a 50-mile stretch of coastline in Normandy, France, divided into 5 sectors. From west to east, they were codenamed Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. Each beach presented its own unique set of challenges, from treacherous tides to heavily fortified German defenses known as the Atlantic Wall. The invasion began not with ships, but with shadows in the night sky. Over 13,000 paratroopers from the American 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions, along with the British 6th Airborne, were dropped behind enemy lines. Their mission was critical: to seize key bridges, disrupt communication lines, and secure vital causeways to prevent German reinforcements from reaching the beaches. Many landed far from their drop zones, scattered and isolated. Yet in small groups, they fought with incredible courage, achieving many of their objectives and sowing chaos among the German defenders. As the sun began to rise, the main event commenced. The naval bombardment was a sight to behold. Thousands of shells from battleships and cruisers rained down on the German coastal fortifications. The sound was deafening, a relentless drumbeat announcing the arrival of the Allied Armada. From the sea, a fleet unlike any other in history appeared on the horizon, a forest of masts and funnels stretching as far as the eye could see. At Utah Beach, the American 4th Infantry Division had a stroke of luck. Strong currents pushed their landing craft about a mile south of their intended target, into a less defended area. The resistance they met was comparatively light, and within hours, they had secured the beachhead and were pushing inland to link up with the paratroopers. It was a successful, almost textbook, start to the operation. But just a few miles east at Omaha Beach, a different story was unfolding. Omaha was a death trap. The pre-invasion bombardment had largely missed its targets, leaving the German defenses intact. As the landing craft doors dropped, American soldiers of the 1st and 29th Infantry Divisions were met with a hail of machine gun fire, mortar, and artillery. The beach became a brutal killing field. Pinned down at the water's edge with little to no cover, casualties mounted at an alarming rate. For hours, the situation hung in the balance. It was the individual bravery and leadership of junior officers and non-commissioned officers that finally turned the tide. Rallying small groups of men, they began to slowly, painstakingly fight their way up the bluffs and neutralize the German positions. The cost was immense, but by the end of the day, a fragile foothold had been established. The heroism displayed on Omaha Beach that day has become legendary. Further east, the British and Canadian forces landed at Gold, Juno, and Sword beaches. At Gold Beach, British troops faced stiff resistance but managed to overcome it, pushing several miles inland and nearly capturing the strategic town of Bayeux on the first day. At Juno Beach, the Canadian 3rd Infantry Division faced some of the toughest initial fighting outside of Omaha. The offshore reefs and German defenses made the approach perilous. The first wave of soldiers suffered heavy losses, but the Canadians fought with fierce determination. They pushed through the beach defenses and advanced further inland than any other Allied force on D-Day, a remarkable achievement that is a source of immense national pride for Canada. Finally, at Sword Beach, the easternmost landing site, British forces, accompanied by French commandos, landed with the objective of linking up with the British paratroopers who had captured the crucial Orme River bridges, famously known as Pegasus Bridge. Despite heavy fighting and a German armored counterattack in the afternoon, They managed to secure their objectives and establish a solid beachhead. By the end of June 6th, the Allies had done the impossible. They had breached the Atlantic Wall. Over 156,000 troops were ashore in Normandy. It was a monumental victory, but it came at a staggering human cost. It's estimated that there were over 10,000 Allied casualties on D-Day alone, with more than 4,000 confirmed fatalities. The numbers for the German forces were similarly high. Each of those numbers represents a personal story of courage, sacrifice, and loss. The beaches of Normandy were just the beginning. The Battle of Normandy would rage for another 2 months. A brutal campaign fought through the dense hedgerows and rolling hills of the French countryside. But the successful landings on D-Day were the decisive turning point. They opened the door for the eventual liberation of France and the final push towards victory in Europe. Today, the Normandy coast is peaceful. The beaches are dotted with memorials, cemeteries, and museums that stand as silent testaments to the events of that fateful day. Places like the Normandy American Cemetery, with its rows of pristine white crosses, are solemn reminders of the price of freedom. They remind us of the young men from different nations who came together, united by a common cause, to fight for a better world. The story of D-Day is more than just a military operation. It's a story of human ingenuity, incredible bravery in the face of overwhelming odds, and the ultimate sacrifice made by an entire generation. It serves as a powerful lesson about the cost of conflict and the importance of remembering those who fought for the liberties we often take for granted. Thank you for joining us on this journey back to 1944. The legacy of D-Day is one we must never forget.